Ladies, gentlemen, and individuals of all persuasions, none of you need me to tell you that Half-Life Alyx is a truly superb game. To say that would be the most pointless of takes of all time. I'm fully aware of this. But I really want to go into depth and detail about how excellent this is. And I think there's more to this than it just being a good sequel. I think there's more to this than it just being a really good example of VR. There's an art and craft in this that shines far beyond those simple components, and I'd like to talk to you about them. So friends, with your permission, today I'd like to talk about the Northern Star. So, picture the scene. You've been running from Combine and hoofing it through sewers, there's been head crabs, and there's been fucking troops with grenades and buzzy things, and what the bloody hell is that? Oh my word. Okay, those keep moving after you shoot them. That's not okay. The corpse is twitching. Great, now there's in the dark spiders. You have gone through heck and back to get to this point. You have fought your way through buildings and streets and sewers, and you arrive at the Northern Star Hotel. Upon entering the hotel, oh yes, you better believe it, it's time for more feckery. You're introduced to this new type of creature, never before seen, not in a Half-Life, not in anything. And this little mother hubbard is fast, it's quick, and it looks like it kind of flies. Oh great.
They made one that flies! Fuck!
And then you enter the lobby of the Northern Star Hotel, and this is what I want to talk about today. Now there's a couple of head crabs and some zombies, but again, they're very well telegraphed, you know they're coming.
And piss off! Oh, fuck! God, I hate this game! But I also love it!
And once you clean them out, you're left with this huge, wide, expansive room. And it's glorious. The whole thing is this wonderful little playground. There's a full grand piano with functioning keys.
That almost had like a chord.
I have no musical talent to speak of, so the best I could do was bang my hands and crash a bottle against the keys and then swipe the glass shards off the keys.
Damn it, I broke my beer!
Sorry, I'm so sorry everyone, where were we? But it's fully functional. There's a myriad of videos online of people playing like full songs on that. There's a fully stocked bar. Okay, for the apocalypse there's a fully stocked bar. There's a bunch of alcohol taps, there's chairs, tables, all sorts of things to play around with. Now, what you're meant to do in this section is you're meant to go into the back room, do some fiddly little wire sniffing with your hand wavy, it's totally not a sonic screwdriver duct taped to a dictaphone thing, and then you find the thing that finds the power that turns the elevator back on. You've done that dance a million times, but it's very fiddly. And it struck me that this is all incredibly intentional. See, you're offered this teeny tiny little playground of things to play with. And you're tasked with doing something that's very menial, very fiddly. This is incredible pacing. And what I mean is that usually when we talk about pacing in games, we talk about long swaths of dialogue or the time between one series of chest-high walls to another, the troughs and peaks and valleys and shooty gun bang explosions that make a lot of narrative storytelling and experiential storytelling in video games. But here, we're given toys and a distraction. And yes, the way I'm phrasing it does kind of make it seem as if Valve is treating us like a bunch of hyped up sugary toddlers, easily distracted by train sets. But the way I like to think of it is that it gives us a chance to stop, have a breather, not run headlong into the next section. And this is achieved not by giving us a long distance to cover, or by having, I don't know, a teeny tiny pop-up NPC character talk our ear off for 20 minutes about exposition. They pace it by giving us toys to play with. And it really does depend on what you're doing. I, obviously, being the drunken idiot that I am, immediately, having broken the piano, went behind the bar, started pretending to mix drinks. I was throwing bottles over my back. I was spinning them in my hand. I accidentally caught one in the wrong. It looked like I smashed it in my hand with the glass jutting through. I had a glorious time. And so I spent probably an hour? Feck, I don't remember. I spent ages faffing around behind the bar, rearranging things, faffing with the piano. I had so much fun. And then, when I'd caught my nerve, when I was ready to progress on, I did the diddly-fiddly dictaphone thing with the wall, got the elevator going, and continued my way through the Northern Star Hotel, where I would experience a myriad of horrors which will haunt me until I die. But I kept thinking about that lobby and how beautifully designed it was, how you have to go past so many things to play with before you can progress, how you have so much freedom and creativity that you can do in such a small space. It's easy to look at the beginning of the game with giving us a nice big glass window writing area and some pens to scribble on. I mean, it's obvious, but this is subtle. This is put in our way to get us to stop and slow down and smell the metaphorical roses. The reason why I wanted to highlight this one particular space so much, the reason why I think it's worth this discussion, is it shows a very clear indication of thought for us. One of the things I love so wholeheartedly about video games is that it's almost a collaborative art medium. We as the player, we as the user, and the creator are kind of working in tandem. Sometimes the creator drags us along by our ankles, and sometimes we are the aforementioned toddlers on sugar, running off into places the creators never intended us. The reason why this area is so special is it takes into account what we as users would do in virtual reality. Look at things, play with things, understand it. It's not environmental storytelling in the way that we know from Dark Souls and other titles. This is environmental distractions as pacing. The level design in this area clearly thinks about us. The player, what are we going to do? What would we like to do? What would make sense in this world and yet allow us to take this space to have a physical and mental breather? And that's why it's so exceptional. We've all grown up on Valve as essentially being the building blocks for how we tell a story, both narratively and through the experience of video games. And what we're seeing in Half-Life Alyx is that same care and thought and attention, but applied to a whole new myriad of tools and tricks. Half-Life Alyx genuinely cares what we're doing and what we're experiencing. It doesn't sit loftily above us, glaring down its nose, being like, oh, well, if you don't understand how brilliant I am as the sequel to Half-Life, well, you better go and bloody do one. No. It sets the stage with us in mind. The main character might be Alyx, but the lead actor is us. It is our world and our story. And I think this tiny little snapshot of a lobby encapsulates it beautifully. This is where I want to spend my time. And that's no small feat. That's no small feat.